The Ball poem by John Berryman. Here in the poem, the poet, he talks about a boy who experiences an important lesson of his life. The boy loses his important possession, that is, his ball, right? And for us, a ball may be a minor thing, but for the boy, it was something that he was attached to. It was his precious possession. So let's look at the first stanza here. Okay? Let's look at the first stanza. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? What is he to do? I saw it go, merrily bouncing down the street, and then merrily over. There it is in the water. So the poet, he asked himself, what this boy will do after losing the ball. The poet, he saw the ball rolling away from the boy, right? The ball merrily bounced down the street, merrily over there in the water. So your merrily means happily. The boy was happily playing and the ball rolled through the street finally in water. Okay? Alright? So that is what is told in the first stanza. Okay? Here in the first stanza he tells that the boy was happy playing and the poet, he was there and he saw the ball rolling and the ball rolled through the street and it finally went into the water. Now look at the second stanza. What he says? No use to say, oh, there are other balls. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down all his young days into the harbor bed. So the poet says there is no use in making the boy understand that he will get another ball because he has other balls at home. He can use them to play with. But the boy is in grief. Now see, look at the line. The line here, an ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy, means he is very sad. Ultimate means great, right? Your ultimate means great. And shaking grief means sadness which has a great effect on the boy. Right? Look at the words. Fixes means to get attached. So the sadness gets attached to the boy. Right? Okay? See here, no use say, oh, there are other balls. The poet is of the opinion that there's no use going and consoling the boy and telling that you have other toys, other balls also to play. Right? Because the boy is in grief, he is in sadness, he is in ultimate shaking grief, which is attached to the boy. As he stands rigid, trembling, staring down. So the boy stands rigid. Rigid means stiff, trembling in grief, and looking at the water and desiring for his ball. The boy stands there in pain, longing for the ball, longing for his toy. He wants his toy back. Right? All his young days into the harbor. All his young days into the harbor where his ball went. Okay? So, here it means all his young days into the harbor. That is, into the water of the harbor. What does harbor mean? Harbor means area of water next to the coast. Right? So, harbor means the area of water. So all his young days into the harbor means what? All his memories that were attached to the ball, they also went along with the ball into the water. The boy had the ball for a long time, and all his old memories when he used to play with it now into the harbor, into the water of the harbor. Alright? His ball went. I would not intrude on him. A dime another ball is worthless. Now he senses first responsibility. In a world of possession, people will take balls. Balls will be lost always. Little boy. See now in the previous stanza, we saw that he was standing rigid. Rigid here means stiff. Trembling is shaking, right? Trembling is shaking. Shaking of in fear, in sadness, right? And looking at the water, looking towards the way his ball went there, right? Now the poet says that I don't want to intrude the personal feeling of the boy. So intrude, the word intrude means to enter, but here it means to go and disturb the boy. The poet wants the boy to feel the pain of his loss, and that is why he doesn't want to go and disturb the boy, right? To intrude means to go and ask why is he in pain, or the poet says that even if he wants to help, he won't do that. Why? Because the poet wants the boy to feel the pain of his loss. Because this is life. And life is going to throw more such situations where he will lose some valuable things or possessions and he has to face it. Right? Okay? A dime another ball is worthless. What does this mean? See, money may bring a new ball, but will not bring the memories and feelings attached to the lost ball, isn't it? Yeah, the poet doesn't even want to tell the boy to take some money, buy another ball because the new ball will not erase the memories that he had with the previous ball. Okay? Right. So try to understand the meaning behind the poem. Alright? Okay? In a world, his sense of first responsibility, when you look at the third line, his sense of first responsibility, it means that this is the first experience that the child is getting. Though the thing is very minor, though it is just a toy, it is preparing the boy to face the bigger losses that he is going to encounter maybe later on in his life, right? Okay. And um also he says that, see, he has to take responsibility, right? The poet further he says that it is time for the boy to bear his grief and sorrow alone. He says that the boy has to take responsibility of his own sorrow. Hmm? In a world of possessions, people will take balls. Balls will be lost always, little boy, and no one buys a ball back. See, look at it again. In a world of possession, people will take balls. Balls will be lost always, little boy, and no one buys a ball back. Now, here the poet wants to say that the loss of dear things is a fact of life, right? The poet says that the loss of dear things is fact of life, and he says because no one can buy the ball back because it is gone, it is lost, and money cannot compensate it. See here further, money is external. When you look at these lines again, I'll repeat it for you. In a world of possession, people will take balls. Balls will be lost always. And it means that in this world, people have things, they will possess things, they will lose things, right? The precious, maybe things, maybe people, maybe loved ones, right? In this world full of possessions, possessions means to own something, to have something. So people will have things and precious things, dear things, things that are really close to their heart, and they will lose them. That's what the poet is trying to explain the boy. In this whole world, you will have things, you will have people dear to you, things dear to you, and you will lose them. And it happens to all other people also. You're not alone. And no one buys a ball back. That means your money cannot compensate that, isn't it? You cannot buy that particular thing because it's gone. Money is external, right? Money cannot compensate for the loss. Okay? So I'll give you an example here. Like if someone loses a pet, like a dog or a cat or any other pet, that person will feel sad, devastated, isn't it? Because of the intense love and bond with that pet. And it is not just a dog or a cat for that person, isn't it? It is the memory that is attached to it, the joy, the fun that the person had with the pet, isn't it? And buying another pet, another dog will not erase the memories of the old one. Okay? So as I told you, the new thing will not erase the memory of the old thing. Okay? Alright. So money cannot compensate for the loss, no. We cannot buy memories with money. He is learning well behind his desperate eyes. The epistemology of loss. How to stand up, knowing what every man must one day know, and most know many days. How to stand up. Now look at this. In this world full of things and attachment of people to worldly things, he will come across such a situation where he will lose more precious things, right? Now the poet says that he has to learn to live without them, no matter what, no matter what. He says no one can buy back such thing for him. Till here we understood. Even money can't buy back the same thing that the boy lost or his memories, right? But further, the poet also explains that the boy's eyes are desperate. He feels so hopeless that there is no hope of getting the ball back. He's learning the meaning of his loss. He's going to know the fact that all the human beings, at one or the other time, at the one or other point of life, a point in their life, they will lose something, but they have to stand up and accept the fact, right? Accept the fact, accept the harsh reality and compromise with the loss, right? That is what he's telling in the last stanza, right? Okay. So what he says here, epistemology of loss means what? He says that to lose something, right? He's learning well behind his desperate eyes. The epistemology means the knowledge of the loss. What knowledge? As to how to stand up, right? How to stand up and face the reality. Knowing what every man must one day know, and most know many days how to stand up. So what he says that we should stand up and face the reality of life. Alright? Okay? So what is the message? The message here in the poem is that we are going to lose precious things in our life. We are going to lose possessions. We are going to lose our dear and loved ones. But we have to stand up, face it, accept it. Okay? Now look at the last four lines. He is learning well behind his desperate eyes. The epistemology of loss. How to stand up, knowing what every man must one day know, and most know many days how to stand up. Now look at it once again. He is learning. What he is learning? Well behind his desperate eyes. The epistemology of laws. So the boy is learning the epistemology of laws. Right? Epistemology means knowledge, knowledge of laws. He is now understanding, and you can see that in his eyes, in his desperate eyes, you can see the hopelessness of losing his possession, right? And that is teaching him the epistemology of loss, the knowledge of losing things, and how to stand up, knowing what every man must one day know, right? What should every man one day know? Should know how to stand up, how to fight back. Okay? And most know many days how to stand up. Right? And here what he tells, most of them know. Most of, like when you grow up, every individual, when days pass by, they learn to cope up with the grief of losing things, and they stand up and they face and accept the reality of life. That is what is told here. Okay? So that's all about the poem.